I'm Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on solving EQAO test papers. Let me thank EQAO, the private organization, for sharing part of their questions. That really helps our students a lot, and they have really contributed a lot in maintaining high education standard of Ontario. Now, these questions which I am going to share with you are just part of the questions. Don't think that these are all the questions which you need to know about, right? These are just 50% of the questions which they have released. So let's try to understand that. So the test paper could be more difficult than what you really see here. Perfect. Now, since 2014, there has been many changes. You need to only use pencil to fill up, right, and to mark the questions. Now earlier they were giving you the answer sheet, bubble sheets to fill up, and so we don't have circles here to mark, but now you need to fill the circles for a multiple choice question, like this is from 2015, right? So do you see this? One of these options, right? So you need to fill them completely. So that is kind of a major change which happened after 2014. And now you're also allowed calculators. So be ready for questions with more calculations. I'm going to use calculator in this test paper so that you understand how and when to use calculator, correct? And I'm also going to fill these answers with black ink. So I'm going to use a pen, which is contrary to the usage of pencil. It is only so that the things are very prominent and you can clearly see them. The pencil marks will not be picked up by my camera. That is why. Let's begin. Question number 1 here, as usual, as we have seen in most of the test papers, is based on patterns. A pattern is shown below, 1, 2, 4, 8. Which rule best describes the pattern? Start with 1 and then what? So you can see the pattern, and in your mind, you are doubling. Now look into the answers. So add 1 will not work out. Multiply by 2 to get the next term is the perfect answer. So we are going to circle this particular answer, right? So that is how we are going to do it at present. You will normally fill the bubble here with the pencil kind of like this. I hope that is absolutely clear. So you also need a very good quality eraser just in case you change your mind. Okay, question number 2. The parallelogram below will be cut into 2 congruent triangles. What is the area of one of these triangles? So that means we are looking for half the area, right, of this parallelogram. So we write parallel lines and grams, parallelograms. So when you do the area, you have to use base and height. Don't get mixed up with this number 6. It will not be required at all. So the area of parallelogram is, you have to multiply 5 by 14, right? So 14 times 5. Now you need triangle area, right? That is to say, we are going to divide this parallelogram into 2 equal parts. So that means you need half of this. So half of this means 7 times 5 or 35. So first option is the right option. Does it make sense to you, right? So they just want half the area of the given parallelogram. Question number 3. I'm going to use calculator in this particular question. It says, a store sells 12 oranges for $3.96. How much does 1 orange cost? So when they say how much will it cost, we have to put dollars here and numbers in the bottom, correct? So that will help you to always get the right answer. So the dollars here are $3.96 and the numbers are 12, right? So many dollars for 12 numbers. So when you divide, what do you get? 3.96 divided by 12 is equal to, in decimal, 33 cents. Correct? So let's look into the answers available. The last option here is 33 cents, right? So that is what will be our answer for the given question. So you see how and when we can use calculator. Specifically, when you're dividing numbers with decimals, use calculator. Okay. The next question 4 is, a list of numbers is shown below. 11, 5, 11, 9, 4, and so on. What is the mean of these numbers? Mean means you have to add them up. That means 11 plus 5 plus 11 plus 9 plus 4. And then you have to divide by the number of numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 numbers are there. Correct? So that is how you're going to do it. So let's add this up. 11 and 9 is 20. And then we have 29, 30, and 140. So it is 40 divided by 5, which gives us the number 8. So B is the right option. Correct? You can actually use the calculator for such a question now. Question number 5. Which two equations are true if n is equal to 2? So if n is equal to 2, just put in 2 here, and what do you get? You get 4 plus 2 plus 3. That basically is more than 7, right? So it is 7 and 3, 10. So that is not true. So you can put 2 again here and see. You got 4 minus 2 plus 3. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 plus 3 is 5. This is true. So substitute the value 2 and check. So 4 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11, not 5. And in this case, when you divide 4 by 2, you get 2. And when you add 3, you get 5. So this is correct. So we have equation 1 and 4 as correct equation. So it is better to check your calculations and then get the answer. So I hope the solution for 5 questions here on this page is absolutely clear. Let's move on and take the next question. Now this question here is, Darren rotates the triangle below 90 degrees counterclockwise about point Q. So this is a triangle and that's the point. When we say counterclockwise, then you're moving like this, correct? So this point will, now if you see from here, this point will come in that fashion, correct? So what is the right option here? We are given 4 drawings. So this is kind of similar to it's not 90 degrees. This is also not 90 degrees, right? These are the other 2, right? So have a good look at the 4 options. Can you decide which is the right option? For question number 6. Now what you notice here is that when you rotate it, so this point here, let's say you're looking at this point, so it is going to go 90 degrees to that side, correct? So the center point will come almost on this side. So option D seems to be perfect, correct? So that is the solution for question number 6. I hope that helps, correct? You can select one point and you know which one is the correct option. Here is question number 7. Now in question number 7 says, which of the following shows a rectangle and a triangle that has same area? So you have to find the area, calculate area, use your calculator. So let's calculate. 8 times 5 is what? So when you multiply 8 and 5, you get 8 times 5 as 40. So this area is 40. Here, remember to divide by 2. So this is 10 divided by 2 will be 5. So you will get this as 40. So this one is absolutely correct. So we get the very first one correct. You need not check the others. Move on to the next question, right? So here is question number 8. Now this is an open question. You need to explain while you answer, correct? I would like you to pause the video now, think about it, answer, and then look into my suggestions. Now let's go through the question. 8. 2 patterns are shown below, pattern A and pattern B. So the pattern A is terms and term numbers. If both patterns continue in the same way, which pattern will reach a term with a value of 23 first? That is what it is required, right? So let's look into the patterns and see when does the first pattern reach 23. So you start with 2 and then at 2 it is 5, right? So number in between. So you jump by how much? From 2 to 5 it is a jump of 3, right? So and then from 5 to 8 again you added 3. So basically, whenever you're going to the next part, you go 1.5 up in this particular graph, right? That gives you 3, since each division is 2. So let me plot the points in the same fashion. So the next point should be where? So the next point should be right there, right? So go 1.5. 1.5 this side. That does it make sense to you? So 1.5 like this. Do you see all of them falling in a line, right? So that is how you have to go and connect the points. Perfect. Now, did you reach 23? 23 is between 22 and 24. So in this case, you reach 23 in 8th term. So 8th term is 23, correct? You have to write all this in the space provided. Now I'm going to do everything here so that you can clearly see. Now pattern B is start with 7. So first term is 7 and add 2 to get the next term. So we are going to add 2 each time. So it will be 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21 and then 23. So the pattern numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So this is the 9th term, right? So where did you reach first? It is in pattern A that you reach first, right? And the justification is clear. So pattern A reach 23 first. And that is on 8th number, right? In pattern B, 23 is reached on 9th term, correct? So you can justify saying that. So I hope that makes sense. Next question here is question number 9, which says, a Canadian television station shows 16 minutes of commercial every hour. And it's very important to understand commercial every hour, between 8 a.m. and 11 p.m. every day. How many minutes of commercials are there on the station between 8 a.m. and 11 p.m. in 365 days? One full year, right? That's what you have to figure out. Now, let's see how many hours are there. It is 16 minutes every hour, right? Now, between 8 a.m. to 11 p.m., how many hours are there per day? Let me write 11 p.m. like this. So, 8 to 12 is 4, and then 12 to 11. So it is 15 hours, right? So this is 15 hours. You understand? So from 8 a.m. to 12 noon, that is 4 hours. And then from here to 11 p.m. is 11 hours, right? So when you add them, you get 15 hours a day. So the program runs for 15 hours a day. Every hour it is 16 minutes. So the commercial runs for 16 minutes times 15 hours, correct? So many times. You are going to have commercial per day, right? 16 times. It is 16 per minute, right? And for 15 hours. So that is what you get. So let's multiply. We get 16 times 15, which gives you 240. So 240 per day. Correct? Canadian television station shows 16 minutes of commercial every hour. So for so many minutes, you see commercial per day. Now we want it by 365. So we'll multiply this by 365. So what do you get? We already have 240. We'll multiply by 365 to get our answer, which is 87600 minutes. So that becomes our answer. So total number of minutes in a year is going to be 87600, and you need to write down this answer right at the bottom, right? So it is 87600 minutes of commercial on the station between 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. So I hope the calculation is absolutely clear. So first you have to find how many hours a day between 8 a.m. and 11 p.m. It is clearly 15 hours. 16 minutes in 1 hour, 16 times 15, 240 per day, and there are 365 days. So multiply them all to get your answer. Here is the next question. Toby has bag of 40 colored blocks. Without looking, he reaches in and pulls one block out. So there are 40 colored blocks. He pulls one block out. Complete the table below to determine the probability of choosing a red, green, purple, or yellow block. Now that's the table. So red color we have number as 6. Probability will be total is how much? Let's look into total. Total is 40, right? So the probability is what you have and what is the total. So it is 6 over 40. Correct? Now you could reduce this and write this as 3 over 20. You could also write this as 3 over 20 times 100. So that goes 5 times 15%. So the probability could be given in fraction, lowest terms is better, or as percent. Now in a descriptive, open, it is better to write in both to get better marks, right? Now for green, it is 10 out of 40, correct? So that is 1/4. And in percent, it will be 1 over 4 times 100. You can use calculator. Perfect. You get 25% here. Now, we are given for yellow that the probability is 0.2. That means how many are there in the bag? So it is 40 times 0.2. So that gives you 8, right? So 8 is the total number of yellow. Now you need to find purple. How do you find purple? So from 40, you have to take away this sum. So it will be 40, take away all this, which is 6 plus 10 plus 8, right? So you have to take away all this. So 8 and 6 is 14, 4, 24. So from 40, we are going to take away 24 to get the purple, which is 16, right? So we get 16 here. So if we have 16 in purple, then probability will be 16 over 40. So dividing both by, you could divide them by 8. 8 times 2 is 16, 8 times 5. Or you could even multiply by 100. So we get 2 over 5 times 100 or 40%, correct? This is as good as 20%, correct? So check your answer, 40, 20, 60. And then we have 85 and 15 is 100%. So it works, right? So that is a good check. So I hope the calculations are clear. Remember, you can use calculator for all this, right? So use calculator for such questions. Perfect. Let's move on and take question number 11 now. Question number 11 here is, the grid below shows a triangle that has been moved using transformations from position A, which is right here, to position B, then from position B to C, B to C, and finally from C to D, then C to D. So that is how the transformations are taking place. Now, the question for you is, complete the chart below with descriptions of transformations needed to move the triangle. Be sure to include all units and directions in the chart. Show points of rotation and lines of reflection on the grid. Now that is very important, right? You need to show all the points of rotation and the lines of reflection. So let's see how to answer such a question. Transformation from A to B. What really happens? So from A to B, you can see horizontally how much do we move. Right? So you can choose a point, right? Let's choose this particular point. So from this, you are going to that point. How did you move? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So it is basically, the transformation is translation. And you can define as 6 units left. Correct? And how much up? We are going to count it now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 5. And 5 units up. That is how we will do it. We translate. Now the next thing is from B to C. What do you think has happened here? Well, the orientation has changed. So the change in orientation could be possible if you have rotation about a point. So if I rotate it about this point, kind of like this, which is 90 degrees clockwise, correct? This is clockwise. Then we get C. So this is rotation, correct? Which is 90 degrees clockwise. Now once we have C, we have to move to D. How do you think we'll reach D? Okay. Now the sides have changed, so it is definitely a reflection. So we need to find the center. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That seems to be the center. So that could be a line, right? So we'll say the line is L, right? So this line. Here we'll name the point as, let's say, point P. So we'll say rotation about, let me rewrite this, right? So we'll say rotation about point P. And here we'll write reflection. Reflection on line L, right? So once you do that, then you actually get good grades, right? This is what it is. So you have to explain clearly what exactly is being done, and I hope that helps. Next question here is question number 12, which is the pattern shown below is made of triangles. Term 1, term 2, and term 3. The pattern continues. Which of the following represents the number of triangles in terms 4, 5, and 6? So let's count. We have 2 triangles here, and here we have 2 more, right? So we 1, 2, 3, 4. So those 2 were added, and then we had 2 more, and we have 6. So it is increasing by 2 each time. So we are adding 2 each time. So the next number should be 8, 10, and 12, correct? That is how we could get it. Question number 13. It is, what is the value of 0.370 minus 0.156? So let's do it. 0.730 minus 0.156. So when you borrow, this becomes 10 and that becomes 2, right? So you get 4 here. And then when you borrow, this becomes 6 and that becomes 12 and that becomes 7. And take away from 6 is 5. You get 0.574, which is option C. Clear? Now question number 14 is property. The quadrilaterals shown below are ordered from smallest to largest based on a geometric property. Now this is a very important question which has been repeated, right? Let me tell you that. Since you will find solution from 2014 to 19 in my series, and this is a repeated question, right? So take care of such questions which are being repeated. Now it says a parallelogram, trapezoid, triangle, and square. What do you think is the property which has been repeated? Well, is it the number of acute angles, lines of symmetry, number of pairs of equal sides, or number of pairs of parallel sides? What do you think is the right answer? It is lines of symmetry. Here, it has 0 lines of symmetry. In this case, there is 1 line of symmetry. In this case, there are 2 lines of symmetry, right? And in this case, how many lines of symmetry? This is a square. Do you see that? So it has 4 lines of symmetry. So it is based on lines of symmetry, which is increasing. Now this is a very popular question and comes once in 3 years. Okay. Question number 15. A spinner is shown below, right? On which of the following number lines does the point represent the probability of spinning an even number? So even numbers, how many divisions are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 comes in the denominator. How many are even? 1, 2. Just 2 even numbers here. So 2 out of 8 or 1 out of 4. So quarter. So for quarter it is option A. This is 1/4, right? So that is the answer for question number 15. Now let's look into question number 16, which is, A fire truck has a ladder measuring 3 units in length. Which unit would be most appropriate to measure the ladder? So it is 3 units. So ladder, what do you think it is? Kilometers? Oh, that's very long. Decimeter, decameter, or centimeters? Think about it. Well, centimeter is too small, right? So it is decimeter or decameter. Which one is you think is correct? It is decameter. Decameter is more than a meter, right? It is only 3 units long. It is 3 units long, right? So the scale is kind of like this. You have meter here and you have decimeter. Let me write with smaller d, decimeter, and then you have centimeter. And on this side, we have decameter. We sometimes write at DA, decameter, right? So that is the unit which will be used, correct? So 3 units will be in decameters. That means 3 decameters, right? Or 30 meters, right? So that will translate to 30 meters. Okay, now here is the next question, which is each beaker of water below has capacity of 2 liters. Which beaker appears to have about 500 milliliters? That means you have to understand this, right? 500 milliliters is half the liter. Do you understand? So which one has half the liter? That is what you have to look for and answer the question, right? So 2 liters is total capacity. Total from here to here, it is 2 liters. Think like this, right? Now we want how much? Half of 2 is 1 liter and half of 1 will be half liter. So 1/4, right? Which is option D for us. Do you see that? So option D is the right option in this case, which gives you half liters in capacity, since this in all is 2 liters, right? Don't think it is 1 liter. Clearly written here that each beaker of water below has a capacity of 2 liters. So you need to read your questions properly. Otherwise, you may skip the right answer, right? The last question on this page and also for this test paper is question number 18, which is Mrs. Garrett sent survey to 120 students and 78 students returned the survey. So not all will answer. 78 answered out of 120. Which statement best describes the percent of students who returned the survey? So exactly 50%, exactly 75%, between this and that. Let's try to figure it out. So 78 returns, we'll say 78 over 120 times 100. We are allowed a calculator. So let's do our calculation, right? So we have 78 divided by 120 times 100 is equal to 65, right? That is what we get. Now, we know it is 65%. From the description given, C matches between 50% and 75%. Does it make sense to you? So you could calculate or you could estimate. Correct? You know, half of 120 is 60. Since it is more than 60, it is more than 50%. You get an idea. So you could estimate also. But since calculator is allowed for such questions, I'll prefer to calculate the answer and be sure of what we are answering. So I hope that helps you a bit to understand what type of questions could be asked, and that should help you to get ready. Remember that this is just a part of the test questions revealed. There are many more, and so you need extra practice. I have a list of videos for you. You can click on those videos and practice. Most of those videos will be on topics which are slightly difficult. For example, writing the front and side views, probability questions, fractions, and calculations involving volume and patterns. I'm Anil Kumar, and I hope that helps. Feel free to write your comments, share your views, and if you subscribe to my videos, that would be great. Thanks for watching and all the best.